What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another podcast. Nate and I are here, and we are recapping week two of college baseball. Would you say a more entertaining weekend than week one?
I would, yeah. In general, a lot more things went on, and I saw a lot of teams that I was worried about last week. I saw them improve, so that was fun to watch. But I also saw a lot of teams that looked good last week, look bad this week. So a lot to talk about.
I didn't get to watch that much yesterday, but I watched a lot Friday and Saturday. And I know what went on. I got my fix. And so, yeah, with that being said, we'll hop right in. What do you want to start off with?
We can talk with about anything.
Let's go for it. Whatever you want. Start off.
What do you mean start off
Whatever you want.
like a subject, like a topic?
Yeah, you could pick a topic we could start off with.
Um, let's do teams you impressed us.
All right, we'll run it
I'll let
back
you go first. I'll let you go first. I went first last time.
first. Southern Miss continues to impress me. I'll give them that. They went into Round Rock and they swept through the Round Rock Classic. And so that's a big weekend for them. They went out and beat Oregon State, Purdue, and Baylor. Um, and yeah, all impressive wins. They won six straight after dropping their season opener to Santa Barbara and Jackson, Florida. We talked about them a lot in the pod on Friday that came out, but overall, like they're a team that, like I said, is super fun to watch, but they're also really good, and I think that they're a team that could definitely host a regional again and potentially even host a super regional. So
They're knocking on the top 10. I think they're.
yeah,
I think we had them 13 and D1 had them 12.
yeah.
So yeah, they're good every year. They definitely impressed me. I had them losing to Oregon State and they embarrassed Oregon State.
Oregon State looked rough this weekend, and we'll talk about that. But
Team that impressed me was Auburn, especially after that midweek loss. They bounced back three huge wins. They looked amazing this week. They embarrassed my preseason national championship pick, Florida State. So I was thinking about this earlier. I might have to pivot away from Florida State because their pitching looked weak. Their hitting looked weak. They looked weak in general. And then Auburn, they beat a Louisville team that was they played Louisville, right?
Auburn
Yeah,
beat Louisville as well.
yeah,
No, yeah.
yeah. They beat Louisville. So they beat a Louisville team that looked shaky last week. I didn't get to really. I didn't watch that game. I watched the Florida State Auburn game. That game was literally pitiful.
Yeah,
But
I watched.
yeah, I think Auburn. I think people were doubting them after that midweek loss last week, and I think that was just stupid. That's literally just proof that you can't just take into effect what happened this early on in the year. It's proof. Who they play the first game? Michigan?
They played no, not the first game. Kansas State.
No, I only got to watch one Auburn game this week, but the one game I watched, they impressed me for a
They wa
lot.
Yeah, they played Florida State and they went down early. Um,
Mhm.
but came back, fought, grinded out a messy game. And yeah, and then I watched a little bit of the Louisville game yesterday. Freshman Ethan Bingaman hit a bomb, his first. And Auburn is a very gritty, tough team. They have a lot of depth, a lot of pitching depth. Got some guys from Western Kentucky. And so yeah, they're a really good team. Another team that impressed me, Oklahoma continued to stay hot. I won't talk about them too much, but they dominated Coppin State. But that's what you should do when you're an SEC team and you're playing some of these schools. But for real, a team that impressed me that I want to go in depth about is UTSA. They went in and got a really loud series sweep against DBU at home. Uh, some close games, very close fought, tough fought series. But UTSA, what impressed me most was their ability to win close games, make the right plays, not commit mental errors and lapses, and then go out and fight and hit when they need to, hit in clutch situations, play small ball, advance runners, and they do all the right things. And I mean, shit, you're looking at a team that 2 years ago had Ruge Rojas before he transferred to Texas, and they made it super regional last year, lost to UCLA. And you look at this team, and there's a lot of what ifs.
Hmm.
Super good team. In my opinion, the second best mid-major team. I think they could have a shot at making a run at Omaha potentially. It could be a fun story.
I mean, that's about all the teams. Any other teams to think of? Maybe we can talk about UCLA in depth. in
Yeah,
depth.
we
Wait,
could
wait,
talk about
depth.
UCLA. Um,
They look phenomenal. TCU, I'm really high on TCU still. They're 2-5. I'm not really looking into that too much, but UCLA, what they did at TCU this last week was, and they embarrassed TCU. There's nothing else to put it. They
yeah.
embarrassed them, and they did it with hitting the ball. I mean, I'm not gonna say their pitching wasn't good, but their hitting the ball was phenomenal. I'm talking from 1 to 9. There was not just one player that did. Well, obviously it was Rock, but everyone contributed in some way,
Will
and that's
Gasparino,
Will Gasparino.
2 home runs on
Roman Martin
season.
looked good. They all
Everyone
looked
looked
good.
good. Everyone really looked good. Cash Duggar had a couple hits in that series as well. Um, I mean, like you said, Wyland Moss came in and had a career high 9 strikeouts out of the bullpen. He looked great. And then And a good point that was made. I watched the 11.7 recap episode this morning, and I forget which one of the boys made it. But shout out to Noah, Ben, and Demetrius or Dimitri. Um, they made a take saying, and I agree with it, the closest game was Sunday's game, and Sunday's game ended 15-5. But until that inning where not LSU, UCLA broke it out, uh, it was a pretty close game, and that was the closest game. And like I said, I did say it on Friday or on the Thursday pod. I said I think UCLA gets 1 and 2. I said it. I think if they win 2 games, I think they win the first two, and TCU can fight through a third one.
You know, when we were doing a live stream, and I saw Rock hit the home run, I called a sweep. I called a sweep on the live stream. I said it's gonna be a sweep. I could just tell, and it was a sweep,
You
and it was
said you called the sweep in pick'ems.
yeah,
You said it.
yeah.
I mean, you
And
said it.
it was an impressive one too. I thought TCU. I honestly thought I didn't really think of a sweep. I was just saying it, but I kind of thought it could happen. But I really did not think a sweep was going to happen, and it happened.
Yeah, it was very impressive. I don't want to say it's hard to say shocked, but I was pretty shocked to say
I
that.
was shocked. I was shocked because TCU is not bad at all. They
Yeah.
are not bad. They have, in my opinion, one of the deepest lineups in the country, and they just looked bad.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a testament to UCLA's pitching. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think UCLA. I mean, yeah, I'll talk about their pitching. Actually, they looked really good. Logan Redeman on Friday night, career high strikeouts. I think he had 11 strikeouts. Maybe he had 10. Funny enough, Chase Brunson hit a home run off of him, which he did last year when Logan Redeman pitched for USD against TCU. But he pitches well against TCU. He had a great start against them last year, and now does this against them this year. And so, I mean, it's very fun. It's overall very exciting. Um, wow. Wow. Big Ten baseball just sent us some posts that impressed me with some stats from the UCLA series. And overall, yeah, like you said, they beat them with a lot of hitting. Everyone did it. This UCLA team is really built for a run at Omaha this year.
I think they are. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I want to talk one more thing I want to talk about is LSU. I want to touch on this lineup. No, and it's not a bad thing. I actually think
I'll talk about this too.
yeah, we can talk about LSU. There's a new stat. I haven't actually gotten to look much at it, but it's called kill shots, and attribute the credit back to the boys on 11.7. They were talking about this, and they brought up a really good point. LSU is going to destroy the country in that stat, and it's a stat based on like big innings, kill shot innings, where you just
Yeah,
score, where you put up 5 runs on a team,
I would
and
imagine. That's how they won their games this year.
and that's what
One
I'm
in.
that's what I wanted to touch on. LSU doesn't I'm not worried about LSU because at any point in the game the bats can turn on and they can score 8 runs in an inning like it's nothing. And they can do it in their sleep and they do it every game seemingly. And teams are I don't know. Teams can't really do much about it. There's nothing you could do to stop it because it seems like once they get their timing down and they settle into a game, they find a pitcher that they can get to, and they get to the next three, and they rip through 3 guys in a bullpen in 1 inning. They put up 8 runs, bat around. Like it's some of the most honestly fun baseball I've ever watched. And um, so yeah, I mean they're a team that right now, like I said Friday, like my ceiling on them is not as high as I thought it was, but this weekend kind of changed my opinion on that, even though the pitching didn't look all that impressive at all, but I'm not too worried yet. Like I think they'll settle in and find it. They don't have the guys that they did last year, the names, but I'm not worried
I
about
think
LSU.
I think they're going to hit the ball a lot more to win a national championship this year. As where they had Kate Anderson last year, they scored one run to win. They're not going to be able to do that this year.
Yeah, I agree.
So if we can move right along to teams that maybe
Uh,
didn't
I'm texting
stand
you.
up to our type of, you know, standard we have for them this week.
Yeah, we'll do that. You start since I started with some teams that impressed us. Go ahead.
All right, let me think. I'll go Florida State 1-2 down in Texas. Their bastard is not there. They didn't look like the
Shout out Gabe Frazier, who
Gabe Frazier had a
probably was
week. He
amazing.
had a good week. He was a bright spot for Florida State. Miles Bailey didn't really show up. He left
No,
his bat in Tallahassee.
I agree.
So I'm not really worried about them. Like I said about 20 minutes ago, I'm not really worried because Auburn, look what Auburn did, and look how they did this last week. So I'm not really worried about early games. But yeah, the bats are definitely something I was a little concerned about. Pitching did not look that bad. West Minute, he looked phenomenal
Wes
again.
Memphis was amazing. Yeah,
So
I'm waiting on the Trey Beard debut. I'm so
same too.
sad.
Labor didn't get
Um,
the pitch. I don't know. I'm seeing another Chase. What's his name from last year?
no,
Florida
no,
State?
no. It's not a Cam Leiter situation. He was sick before the season and he lost like 15 pounds, and so he's just gaining. He's just getting better. I think he's gonna pitch this season. They didn't want to rush him back. That's all it is with him. But I was looking forward to watching him pitch. I was hoping they got to pitch him in Texas, and unfortunately they couldn't. So all good. But yeah, they disappointed. Another team that disappointed, Oregon State. I'm not going to talk about Friday night, even though they won, because I want to save that when we highlight players. But their bats in general in the lineup is, I don't know if it's a road thing and it's just like start of the season slump and they're on the road and they travel a lot. Oregon State always does, not being in a conference right now. But like it's rough. You can't score 3 runs a game and expect to win ball games. And so I don't know. Oregon State has to figure some things out in the lineup, whether it's moving some guys around, getting some new bats in there, trying some things, or hoping they just wake up maybe when they get back home. They don't play their first home game until somewhere mid-March or early March. So maybe when they get back to Goss Stadium, they'll be good. But Oregon State does worry me. I'm very, very scared about their bats.
Yeah. Teams. I'm trying to think of some teams. Oh, Tennessee worried the hell out of me. Dropping that series against State at home.
I didn't
I
watch much, so go
I
ahead.
I watched the last two innings when Kent State won. Tennessee days look dead. The bats are dead. The pitching was fine actually all week. I felt like the pitching was fine, especially in the game three. Is the bats are dead, and I don't know if they're hungover from the week they had prior because they were hitting the piss out the ball all over the yard. So I don't know if it's a hungover, but you can't be dropping at Kent State, especially when you have the standards that Tennessee has.
Yeah. And
So
then
I'm
this
a little
weekend
worried about Tennessee.
they have a
I
big
mean,
weekend
maybe they're
coming
not
up.
going to be consistent as they used to be with Tony Vitello.
They have
So
a
that's
big
something I
weekend
keep an eye
coming
on.
up. Very,
So
very
what?
big week. They have a very big weekend coming up in Texas this weekend.
Do and I will be there.
Yeah.
So I'll get to tell you what I see up
Yeah, we'll
close.
talk about it. We'll talk about it when we get back for our Monday pod next week. But something else I want to talk about Tennessee, and again, going back to the 11.7 pod, it's kind of funny that we're mirroring some of the stuff that they spoke about, but they didn't get to speak about this much. It was a take that was brought up and not necessarily shut down, but the guy was kind of just clickbaiting it. But he has a point. After we saw what happened with Texas A&M last year and Michael Early, seeing what's happening with Josh Elander and Tennessee dropping this early series, and if this season isn't a successful season, will there ever be another SEC team that hires a coach internally?
No, I don't think. And I've told Tennessee fans this hire was not the good. It was not a good hire. It was an emotional hire. I told people that. I think they could have done a lot better job. I think they could have wait. Well, actually, when did Tony Vitello leave again?
He left in October.
You could have found someone. You could have found someone that would have took the job. Like we put out two hot boards that had guys that were realistic options, and Elander was on it obviously because he was the first name floating around because players loved him. And I get what y'all did, but it was the wrong hire. It was an emotional hire. They were just didn't know what to do.
I think it's
They
still
wanted to
early
keep
to
the players
judge.
happy, and they did that. But you're not going to win ball games like that. I don't think.
I think it's still early to judge, but yes, I agree. And the point he made was if you give Tennessee's roster to Jim Schlossnagle, a 20 plus year head coach, and you give the roster to Josh Elander, you're more than likely to find more success with Jim Schlossnagle at the helm.
I mean,
Um,
I think you could have asked Josh Jordan to go over there from LSU. I think he would have done a better job.
I'm not talking about who could have done a better job coaching Tennessee because I think it's still too early to judge, and I think there's a lot of guys that could have been a good fit for that program. But overall, yeah, I mean, early struggles for Tennessee. The pitching does look good, but we'll see. I mean, it's going to be a big weekend for them, and if their bats are quiet like they were last
I mean,
weekend,
I don't have a red flag next to her name yet, but if I see a pretty poor weekend this week, I will mention that on the Monday podcast that I have a red flag near them.
yeah, it's getting close though. I'm getting a little worried about it, and then the last, I guess, I don't know. I don't have many teams that didn't impress me, but the last team I kind of want to talk about that struggled a bit this weekend, and I'll find it. Hold on. So why am I blanking on who I wanted to talk about? Oh, Coastal. Dropping a big game into Illinois, and their pitching is still up in question. They lost another guy in
It was like
DJ
a
Cardona
14 to
for the
4,
year.
right?
Yeah, they lost 14-5 or something. And they looked bad in some of the games that they won this weekend, winning very close games so far this season. They haven't really had big blowout stampede wins. They haven't coasted as much as they should. And so it's not a red flag. But I saw even Coastal fans and Coastal Carolina baseball accounts on D1's rankings saying this is not a top 10 team. And I tend to agree with that. Like, not there's yellow flags coming up around them, not red flags yet, but
I don't think.
there's some yellow flags around Coastal just in the sense of is this pitching depth going to hold up without our guys? And is Cam Flukie going to be good? Is everything going to be okay? So
Yeah, I don't have any red flags
I have
around
yellow
any teams.
flags.
But if I had to give out some yellow flags, I'm giving one to Tennessee, I'm giving one to Coastal, and I'm giving one to
Oregon State,
Oregon State. No, who's the other team?
TCU.
No, I'm not giving it to TCU because they just play good teams. I'm giving one,
Nice contribution. Thank you, Cameron.
and I'm giving one to what's it called? I'm gonna give one to Florida State. I'm gonna give a yellow flag to Florida State. That's my four teams.
Hold on. I'm just thanking her for the great contribution to the podcast. Uh, yes, I like that. I like that. I don't have many other red flags or yellow flags that I want to give off. Um, let's talk about some players, spotlights, players to highlight. We can do this for a while.
No, let's do our what's it called? Golden Spikes Power Five because Cody wasn't here. He didn't
Golden
really
Spikes.
know.
We could do our Golden Spikes power ranking so far. We could start from five and go. We could start from five and go
I've
down.
been thinking some guys though. I was
Yeah, low key. Let's just make that a post.
no. I can think of some right here.
I can
Oh,
think
I
of
got
the
one.
top.
Power rankings. I got it. Let's do three. Let's do three.
I was gonna
Three.
say I could do
I
three.
have a template for three. Let's do three.
All right,
We can start with three. You go three. I go three. Or I can go first.
you can go
Up to you.
first.
Number three. I'm gonna go. Jake Brown. No, actually, no. Just scratch that. Scratch that. Number three. I'm gonna go a power ranking. Number three. I'm gonna go Dax Whitney. What he did versus Southern Miss was phenomenal, historic. 17
Yeah,
strikeouts. Yeah. He's easily a top three player in the country right now in a power ranking via Golden Spikes, and I think he's arguably the best pitcher in the country. He's looked like it the past two starts, so he's at number three for me.
yeah, I agree. He fell into my number three. I couldn't think of five real guy. I don't have stats on
I
deck.
could think I have to give you a
I
second
could
though.
think, yeah, I could go pull up stats, but I don't want to do that right now. On the fly, Dax Whitney is my number three. I think we're both gonna have the same list. I think we're both gonna have the same
Just
top three.
say two LeBron, one Rock.
I have the same list as you, and
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's pretty obvious, but I think those are the clear, at least on the hitter side. And we knew that those were the two best hitters in the country and the two most talked about names in the country. And Drew Burress is right up there. And Drew Burress is doing amazing things. And AJ Gracia had 4 home runs this weekend. And the guys that you expected to do the things that the guys that you expected to do great are doing great so far. And so I'm very I'm very cautious to say like it's clear and obvious that these are the top two guys, but Justin LeBron. And he did it last year. He was the number one Golden Spikes guy before conference play, and he's having an insane run again. This weekend, hit 3 home runs, hit two in a doubleheader on Saturday, hit one on Friday, hit one on. I think he had 4 home runs on actually on the weekend, and maybe even if he had three, he had 3 or 4. He has 5 on the year so far. He's hitting like 489. Don't know off the top of my head, but he's having a tremendous year. And Alabama dropped a game in the midweek and has been rolling other than that. And so he goes to my two, and you could talk about Rock, talk about him one. I've done enough.
You know, when people talk about Rock, they bring up generational, and I was not on that train before I watched him literally play live stream with you. But when he hit the home run, yeah, he could be generational. It could be in that talks. I'm gonna have to see him up close this upcoming week, but I'm getting to the close. I'm getting to the part where he's generational
All
because
right,
he
never
does
mind. I'm gonna
everything
talk.
good.
Nate's a hater. Nate's a hater. I'm gonna talk because this
I'm
kid.
not hating.
No, no, no. You're not hit, but like, okay, you're one of the people that sit in my comment section and like generational is overused.
I think it is a little overused. I
I
can
think
think
it
of
is
three
overused, but
generational
not when
players.
you're talking about this guy. This guy does everything good on a baseball field. You can't ask for more. He hits the ball 110 miles an hour, like on average, once every game. He has like his 90th EV is like 106. Like that's ridiculous. He's so good at knowing what pitches to leave. He's so good at controlling the box, controlling the count, doing everything right, hitting to opposite field, hitting with power. Like I'm I'm so excited to watch him up close. I'm so excited to watch him in person. I think he has the potential to be one of the best players in all of baseball in the next couple of years. I'm like I'm at a loss of words for it, and I say so much good things about him. I glaze. Everyone talks so much shit about me for how much I talk about this kid, but I think every bit of it is not. I mean, yes, it's a lot, but every bit of it is warranted. He is worth all the hype and more.
He is worth all the hype in the morning. I mean, that home run based low was so cinema. Live stream too. It
That
really
was
was.
and he's by far and away number one Golden
Let's
Spikes
go. Let's go. How about let's go? Top three players to watch out for this weekend.
in our tournament that we're at.
Mhm. Let's do that.
So yeah, we'll
I like
talk
that.
about this a little bit. We'll preview this weekend. Nate and I will be heading down to Texas for the M&G Bank series. I think it's called. I don't even know if it's Shriners anymore, if it's M&G Bank, or it's the same thing. It could be, but Flow Sports, you could watch the games there. Tennessee is going to be there alongside Texas A&M. UCLA, Mississippi State, Arizona State, and Virginia Tech, if I'm not mistaken. I think those are all six
Yeah.
teams.
And let's just talk about our three impact players that we should watch out for in total.
Three impact players to watch.
I can go first.
Do
You
we
want
want
to, or
to? Do we
you?
want to do excluding
You want to make it different?
without Cholowsky?
Okay. Number
Yeah,
three. You can
yeah,
go
yeah.
first.
We
I
make
can
it
go first.
different. Yeah. You can go first. Each of us have different players.
Okay. Number
I like
three,
it.
I'm gonna go with Ace Reese. He has not really been getting the hype I think he deserves. He's been phenomenal this year. I don't know, he has a couple of home runs. I'm excited to see him up close because the ball coming off his bat sounds different. He's a power hitter. He's a great fielder. So I'm excited to watch him, and I think he's gonna be a big impact for Mississippi State this week.
Yeah. I'm gonna ride the hot bat of Will Gasparino with UCLA. He had 3 home runs on the weekend. He's tied with Rock for the country's lead with 6, I think. Someone might be ahead of that by now, but last I checked, it was them. I know there's some games going on, so I could be wrong. And by the time this is up, it's gonna be Tuesday, so it probably is gonna be wrong. But he had himself a huge weekend last weekend, and so I think UCLA is playing really good baseball right now. They're hot at the right time, and they have another weekend of pretty solid comp before they head into conference play soon after. So I'm ready to see him. He's my three.
Number two, I'm gonna go with Henry Ford from Tennessee. Henry Ford, he was the number one transfer in the country, and he's been playing like it recently. He looked good in the Kent State series. He was probably a bright light in that series besides the pitching. So I think Henry Ford is gonna, if Tennessee wants to walk out of Texas with a tournament win. I think Henry Ford is going to lead the charge.
Yeah. Next, I'm gonna go over to the Arizona State side. They are having a great start to the season, and it's a lot of that is because of a new Contradas, the third baseman. He's hitting 400 on the year, has 3 home runs, driven in 13 so far, and he's building off of a great year last year where he really broke out. And I mean, he played a lot as a freshman and then got hurt in his second year, only played 5 games, and then came back last year, was amazing. And it looks like he took a huge step forward this year. He's going to be a huge impact bat for the Sun Devils. And if they want to win some games against some really good opponents, make a name for themselves and say that, hey, they can really, you know, be a team to watch come postseason time, he's going to be a big part in that this weekend.
Yeah, my last dude, I'm gonna go with Caden Sorrell for Texas A&M. I think he's a top three outfielder in the country. I think he's easily the face of the A&M lineup, and I think if A&M wants any success, it's going to start with him. I think actually I'm gonna say it right now. I think he is the best outfielder in the country right now, in front of Burris. Like playing wise, he's been playing better than Burris. So I think he's arguably the most impactful player in this tournament after Rock. So I think he's going to have to lead the charge for A&M if they want a chance to win him.
Yeah. We could do. I'm trying to be different and like maybe go with a pitcher or something, but
I
I'm
was
gonna
thinking of
go.
going pitcher.
I'm gonna go. No, I'm gonna go with Blaine Brown. Um, and I just think that again, like another thing that you mentioned, Henry Ford and the Tennessee bats went quiet last week. We talked about it a little bit, and he needs to be a catalyst and a spark plug for that lineup, like he was in week one. And maybe they can get him on the mound and get a couple innings out of him or an inning or two. And that's always fun. That looks pretty cool. But regardless, I think the main thing is he needs to be locked in with the bat, and I think he needs to focus on being a spark plug for the Tennessee lineup and just doing the right thing there.
Yep, I agree.
Um,
And that'll be a post tonight. I'll get that post out with the impact players.
yeah, we could do that, and then
Let's
I want to highlight some midweeks that are going to be really good, and we'll post that.
do it. We'll talk about it.
Walter Nolan baseball, Ward Nolan baseball.
Why did my
Sorry.
computer keep going about to die? I don't get that. I mean, my computer keeps fucking like going down right in the PlayStation. So
Uh,
let's just go through a little bit really
yeah,
quick.
I'm going to go through scores. Just trying to. No, Uh, tomorrow we have. I know a big game. Uh, first of all, some fun games. Campbell at Coastal.
Dude,
Campbell.
Campbell's fall off can be studied.
Yeah, but they had a
Dude,
big
they used
win.
to be a threat.
I
Like
know.
yeah. I don't really
Georgia
know
Tech.
a lot about them now.
Tech plays Georgia State. Not a big game, but my midweek game of the day, and it's a double Tuesday and Wednesday. Arizona State at Oklahoma.
I'll be dead. If I had to put a winner on it, I'd probably go Oklahoma.
I think they could split one. Alabama plays at Southern Miss
Southern
at
Miss, I
7.
have I've bet against Southern Miss twice. I'm not gonna do it again. I'll probably pick Southern Miss in that game.
That game is going to be on my TV tomorrow. I'm very excited for that. Um, Texas plays UTRGV. Not a, It's all right. Lamar 5-3 goes on to take on Texas A&M. That's pretty much it for the slate tomorrow. Then we got Wednesday games where Troy is at Georgia. That's a pretty fun game.
Troy's been
VCU,
disappointing this year though.
the pitching has been disappointing. I think it can either be a high scoring shootout or Troy can get demolished in a 15-run loss. I think VCU, North Carolina could potentially be interesting. VCU coming off some close games against Coastal. Again, you have on Wednesday Arizona State against Oklahoma. Like I said, it's a double. You have Florida playing a double against FIU this week, Tuesday and Wednesday, and Miami going to FAU. Fun matchups in the state of Florida, some fun
Mhm.
midweek action. Nothing too crazy. That's some. Oh, why is that only the top 25? I didn't even realize there's a lot more games. I didn't even realize I was just looking at top 25 games. Let's look. What else is fun? Virginia Tech, JMU. That's a fun game.
Hmm.
Duke at UNC Wilmington. That's a good game. Tennessee Tech at Middle Tennessee. That's a fun game.
Yeah.
Central Arkansas at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State finally gets a home game. That's about it. Nothing crazy.
There's nothing crazy this minute. Everything's happening this weekend.
Bethune-Cookman, South Florida. And yeah, we're not going to be back for a weekend episode just because we are heading out to Texas, but we will be back with a lot of content next week, starting off with our weekend recap episode and a bunch of content to follow. Vlogs, interviews, more or less. I don't know what else we'll have. See what happens when we get out to Texas. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Thank you all for watching. Subscribe, like, let us know what else you guys want to see, and that's it.